Got a fish, guys. That was like the third cast. Didn't feel that big, but all right. First fish of the day here. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Cross Country Bank Angler. I'm about to go do some fishing. Got another kit today, another budget kit from Ollie's. Ollie's, in different locations they carry different things, so I have no idea if if you have one near you, if it would have this kit, but I picked it up. This is actually a Beetle spin kit. Yeah, they got a few different jig spinners with a bunch of different colors in here. So let's take a closer look at this kit and see what you get for your $10. Yeah, $9.99, guys. So pretty nice budget option here. You can see just with all the different things in here. But let's take a closer look at it, and then we'll get to fishing. All right, guys, this is what you get out of this kit here. Yeah, they call it the Mega Splittail Spinner Kit. This is not sponsored by the way, guys. This is just some random knockoff brand here that always happens to carry. So I'm just doing these because they're cheap, and I think if you're like me, you want to be budget conscious a lot of the time with your fishing gear. It's easy to spend a lot of money on it, and I just like seeing what these kits are about, this budget gear. So see what it says on the back. They usually have something here on the back. Tried and true, the split tail grub paired with a mini spinner is sure to catch fish. Mix and match the jig heads with any of the grubs to find the right combination for the water you're fishing. This mega kit includes 6 blades, 6 jig heads, and 6 split tail grubs pre-assembled, as well as 24 extra split tail grubs. So you're getting a lot of different pieces here, a lot of versatility in this kit, guys. A lot of different colors of plastic, guys. So if you like a spinnerbait, this is just, it's just such a simple lure to go exploring with, and it catches everything that swims. You can catch big fish, small fish, panfish, crappie fish, bass fish, trout fish, whatever kind of fish you want. So yeah, we can see, I think these are 1/8 ounce jig heads, it looks like. So we have 6 frames in here. The classic Colorado blade, pretty typical for what you're gonna buy from the store in terms of these Beetle spins or jig spinners. And look at all the colors. I mean, you've got white and yellow already pre-rigged here. You've got this kind of clear chartreuse, black, this kind of smoke color, and then this, I'll call this monkey milk. I think that's the name I see for this kind of cloudy white with black flakes in it. So you're getting a pretty versatile kit here, guys. Look at all these colors. I mean, you can match a lot of different forage species with the colors in here. So without further ado, I'm gonna start making my way to the spot where I'm gonna go, and then we'll start throwing these around and see what we can catch. Got a fish, guys. That was like the third cast. Didn't feel that big, but all right. First fish of the day here. There's a little largemouth bass there. It looks a little stunted, perhaps. About I would say an 8-inch fish here. But it's a start. So I went with that, I'm calling it monkey milk color. It's like a kind of a creamy white with some black specks in it. Checking out a lake that I actually haven't fished in a long time. There's one, guys. Like another small bass. Might be better than the last one. He pulled me into the weeds a little bit. A little bit better. Maybe an inch longer. Alright guys, another little bass. About the same as the last one. Like I said, maybe an inch longer. So yeah, this is a pond I haven't been to in a while, since I started the channel actually. Last time I fished here was before I started the channel. And I remember there being a lot of these smaller bass in here. But we'll try a few more casts if we're getting bites. There's some hiding in this shallow grass. Alright, moving down the bank here, I may only make a few casts in this spot because I can see the bottom. This is just like a big flat out here, and it's only like a foot of water. So I don't think there'll be many fish here, and it's going to be hard to keep this thing out of the weeds. They're just going to have to burn it right under the surface. Basically waking it a little bit. Oh, he nailed it. He nailed it. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. So that was pretty funny. This is a fish I definitely saw earlier swimming by just now, and a school of panfish just kind of swam up to investigate. It looked like bluegills. Decent sized bluegills. I'm kind of wondering what's going on. Some little bass mixed in. Pretty clear water in this lake. But this little guy, I saw him swim by, made a cast beyond him and reeled it back, and he gave chase and attacked it. But look how skinny this fish is, guys. This is not a very healthy bass, unfortunately. That was kind of part of why I haven't gone back here. I just remember there being a lot of smaller fish. And usually that means that there's something, the predator-prey relationship in here, there are factors that are not conducive to, good growth for these bass. And the main factors are, stunting. That's usually a factor of there being a lot of fish around. There's probably a lot of individual bass in here, which means that there's less forage to go around per fish, if that makes sense. Alright guys, I was just getting re-rigged here, and there's this big heap of kind of rotted plants on the ground next to me, and look what was buried inside. Got us a lipless crankbait here, this bright red color here. This is a Strike King Red Eye Shad, I think it's called. It's a model I've never fished with. I know it's very, very popular. One of the most popular lipless cranks on the market. And it looks like, the hooks are still functional on it. They're not rusted or anything. This was probably broken off earlier this year. Based on the color, probably in the spring. That red is definitely a spring color. But I'm gonna take this back with me. Lipless crank in totally fishable condition here. So we just switched over to that smoky color, that glittery color. A little more suited to the clear water, I think. But we were getting bites on that other color. I just it's kind of slowed down a little. Wondering if this will help us get a couple more. There we go. All right, got fish number 4, guys. So for whatever reason, the deeper water was not panning out much at all. All right, another dink bass. I think that's just going to be what we're going to catch on the Beetle spins in this place. There are a ton of fish in here, a ton of bass. They're just small. They're just stunted. So this is what we can expect. Ooh, okay. There we go, guys. This guy fought harder than the bass. There's a bluegill, finally. Finally, one of them was big enough to take a swing at it, hungry enough. I've been watching these guys all day and wanting to catch one, because if it's between decent sized bluegill and stunted bass, I'll take the decent sized bluegill. They're definitely gonna fight harder for their size. Not a whole lot of color on this one. He's sort of a little washed out looking, but I will take it, guys. I will take it today. We'll give this guy a toss. Thank you, buddy. Yep, that was the strongest fish we caught all day, guys. We didn't beach himself over here. Yes, he did. Come on, fish. Look at this, guys. Let me give him a toss here. Crazy fish. There's another one. Bass. Another little bass, okay. Next cast. Glad I said I was coming back to this spot, and seemed like the right call. Man, he's skinny. Skinny little guy. Sorry you have to live in this overcrowded pond, buddy. All right, people, so I just finished up fishing with the budget-friendly East Fork tackle Beetle spin kit that I got from Ollie's. And so what do I really think about it now that I've gone out and fished with it? Well, I'll say this. I think if I had fished, a brand name, one of the Johnson Beetle spins, with the same colors, the result would have probably been more or less identical today. I have no reason to think that these were performing any worse than one of the, those Johnson, the name brand ones, or any of the jig spinner combinations that I put together. So, but the fishing was tough today. This was not, I don't think this lake was really ideal for fishing these necessarily. I mean, there was just lots of weeds, and we could get this thing through the weeds. I would say like 70% of the time, but there were a few casts that just got messed up by hydrilla. When there's a lot of grass like this and I'm fishing one of these, I want there to be enough depth that I can kind of control if this is going to get caught in the grass or not. And it's tough to do when it's this shallow. The water is also super clear. I usually don't fish with one of these if the water is super clear, but it did work, right? And I think the key was the grass. Even though it was kind of a pain to fish through, the grass was part of what I think made this work. The grass it's cover for the fish. It kind of obscures your lure a little bit, even when the water is super clear, and that helps that spinner's you know, it can help attract the fish when they don't quite see get a good look at it there. But yeah, you know, have a lot of good colors in here. You know, I went with this this one on the bottom the most, that I'm calling it monkey milk. I don't know, maybe that's not the most accurate name, but that's the one that worked today. And I tried the one above it here, that smoky glitter color, and it did not work. So it seemed like color did make a difference. Lots of different options here for you to choose from, and that's part of why I think this kit's pretty good, because if they just gave you like 2 colors, I probably wouldn't have caught anything here today, but I was able to pick the color that matched the conditions and the preference of the fish. And you know, the hardware, you know, the hooks are good on these jig heads. The swivels and the blades are also good. I actually think these blades are better. You know, I buy some just the frames by themselves from Bass Pro Shops, and I think the blades on these are actually a little bit better than those. They're a little more polished, a little shinier than those. They spin a little bit better. The plastic, kind of similar to the plastic in the other kit from this company. Not the greatest. You know, it's not scented. It's not super soft or super durable. I didn't have to actually replace any of the plastics today from getting ripped, but I think that was more to do with the fact that the fish were small. But it works, right? This, for $10, this is a good value, guys. You get a lot of options, a lot of frames to fish with here. You can make this last a long time. But yeah, this kit works, guys. If you've got ollies around you, it's worth looking around and seeing what they have. Sometimes they'll have stuff like this. Sometimes they'll have brand name stuff for a discount price. So not sponsored by ollies or anything else, but just my experience, right? So that being said, thank you for watching. I'm going to keep fishing. I've got like another hour or so. I'm going to try to target some panfish here with my ultralight rod. That being said, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Peace. Oh my gosh, guys. Thanks. All right, guys. No skunk today. No skunk today. I'm in the roof of the mouth. It's not hooked super well, but there we go. It's like a 1 pound largemouth. Ooh, man. Feels good to catch one after a few hours. Sure, if you want. Appreciate it.
Is that a trout? What is that?
It's a bass.
Oh, nice. Hold on, I'll do one portrait. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, let's let this guy go. So we had a storm, or I mean, you can see the weather has changed up here. You know, we've got more wind coming in, the air's cooling down, there's some thunder, you know, storm system is in the area, and that little change I think is probably helping us, you know, maybe making these fish a little more active.